how do you get buy-in from the team to make this not feel like a big brother is watching?
Big brother's watching over you the whole time.
A lot of it comes down to education, right? When a lot of people hear about AI, there's kind of a natural twinge of fear because of all the sci-fi movies that we've seen.
Yeah. We've been talking a lot about AI agents on Manufacturing Happy Hour lately, and today we're going to be doing that with Spot AI, a company that does video AI for the physical world. We'll be looking specifically at the impact that AI agents are having on safety and operations. All this as we prepare for a massive Manufacturing Happy Hour party that we just threw in Detroit, Michigan. Today on Manufacturing Happy Hour.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. Absolutely.
Yeah, party time.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Well, Duncan, this is going to be one of maybe the most active podcasts we've ever done because we literally have what will be hundreds. I just don't know how many hundreds of people filing in for this event. So should be a good time. But Duncan, you're with Spot AI. This conversation is around AI agents.
Yes.
So I think the best, most natural way to start would be, how do you describe an AI agent as if you're having a beer with someone at Batch Brewing in Detroit? Let's start there.
Yeah, absolutely. So an AI agent is artificial intelligence that can perform a task on your behalf, right? It's going to act autonomously. It's going to understand your environment, and it's going to do something for you. So maybe in a brewery circumstance, you could have a video AI agent on a camera that's looking at your tap room.
Yeah.
And if there's a line forming at the bar and there's no bar attendant to pour in beers, it's going to play a message over the loudspeaker in the back to say, hey, we got a line. Someone needs to come out and pour these beers, right?
And so I've used AI agents in the past more for like LinkedIn. So what I've done is I make a post every single day on LinkedIn, and I've created an AI agent to say, hey, this is the general format. This is the general flow. This is the attitude. I like to have facts and bolds and all that stuff. So for me, I'm able to create an AI agent to make my life easier when I'm writing and creating content.
Absolutely.
How can manufacturers begin to understand AI is such a buzzword in the industry, but we're focusing on AI agents. How does AI agents really begin to make manufacturing lives easier?
Yeah, absolutely. And we focus kind of in two areas. One is safety and one is operational efficiency. So in the safety space, and we're primarily working with video inputs, right, from IP cameras. So you can have an AI agent that is watching all of your camera film 24/7 in real time, and it can understand things like, are people wearing the personal protective equipment that they're supposed to be, right? Hard hats, safety vests, gloves. Are forklifts driving safely in your environment? Or are they driving too fast? Are they in restricted zones? Are there near misses with pedestrians, right? And the agents can then act on your behalf to, send off an alarm. Maybe a person's getting too close to a dangerous machine. It can automatically shut down the machine. But then also more retroactively, it can build a report for you. So you really understand the number of incidents that are happening so you can better train your people and make them safer.
So put this in the context of, as I've heard you describe security cameras as AI agents, as AI teammates, which I think we need to define that, because if I'm a layperson and I hear security camera as an AI agent, my first impression is going to be I'm going to freak out. But flip the script on this. How are they AI teammates?
Yeah, absolutely. So as I said, these AI agents are watching video 24/7 on behalf of a human, right? And that's something that no human would really want to do, sit around and watch all that video. And they're then able to make the lives of the employees at the business better, right? They can make them safer. They can make them more efficient by providing, these kind of reporting. And in that way, the agent really is kind of your teammate. They act as your second or third safety manager. They act as, another operations manager to make life on the floor easier and allow your people to focus on higher level problems and strategy rather than more of these mundane tasks.
When I think of problems in the industry, one is workforce, right? We have 600,000 open jobs in manufacturing. We have the mean average of people working in the industry is 55 years old, of which a majority of them have been in the industry for a long time, if they're around that long.
Honestly, I think we have enough people coming tonight to this party to fill the skills gap. If
everyone
that shows up tonight, we can fill the
I heard
skills
something
gap.
about 850 people.
It's going to be a packed house tonight. But when we look at the tribal knowledge that currently exists on the manufacturing floor that will be retiring in the next 4 to 5 years, how can a AI agent with a vision system be able to look at operators, understand how they're going about fixing problems, addressing issues, being able to create work instructions that might not actually be on paper, but in the knowledge, how can the AI agent move that and really capture that data and information?
Yeah, and that's a great point. Where we're at today, we think of these AI teammates as junior employees, right? They're fresh, they're green, but you can train them, you can coach them, and they can perform tasks for you. But in the very near future, with the advent of foundational models and more advanced reasoning, these agents will be able to graduate to more senior employees. And what's so interesting is they're able to watch footage and truly understand what is happening, right? What the context of the environment is, follow a process that a person is following, break it down step by step. And where we see this going in the very near future is those agents can then serve as training mechanisms for other new human employees, right? So that tribal knowledge is not lost, as you said.
That's a key part I keep hearing about AI agents, and hopefully something that manufacturers take to heart, whereas a good agent can take all the best skills of the person that's about to retire with all the rare talents that take years to acquire, and then in turn teach back to newer employees on the team. That's something that comes up on Manufacturing Happy Hour quite a bit, or it has started to just within the past couple months. So I would expect that to continue to be a theme.
Absolutely. And these models, right, at this point are multimodal. They can take in lots of different forms of data inputs. So, we primarily focus on video today, but very soon we'll be able to ingest other business data from, maybe your ERP system or standard operating procedure documents, right? Other sources of data that give the agents context about your business, how things are supposed to operate, and then that can all be fed right back into people that you're training.
So what industries do we really see this? I mean, manufacturing is abroad, and there's all different types from med tech, automotive, packaging, pharma. Where do we see this technology kind of being deployed?
Yeah, so right now we're working with lots of manufacturers, primarily on safety use cases. So it really spans the board, right? If you've got a forklift, if you've got people walking around your warehouse, you need to understand if they're doing things safely. We can help you. If you've got an assembly line, you need to understand if it's getting backlogged, no matter what it is that's going down.
Yeah,
we can help you. So we've tried to build this platform as generally as possible and as flexibly as possible, so that the agent can go in, take the context from your specific environment, and then apply it to solve problems, rather than building very specific solutions for specific subsectors.
I'd love to hear two examples, two stories from you, whatever way we describe it, because we've talked about the operational advantages that AI agents can bring, as well as the safety advantages. And I know you have specific examples of both. Let's start on the safety side. Let's go back to that. I mean, I think I heard at least one of your examples, you were able to help reduce incidents by like 40%, leveraging these, AI teammates, these security cameras. Tell me more about this.
Yeah, absolutely. So we brought in AI teammates to understand forklift near misses and missing personal protective equipment primarily for a big manufacturing customer. And previously, they had a single safety employee who she spent 8 hours a day combing through footage from 600 different cameras. That's something like 16,000 hours of footage, trying to find examples of safety incidents, right? So they could get an understanding of how frequently they're happening and then figure out how to reduce them. And within days, we were just able to deploy these AI teammates. Does all that work for you, right? She doesn't have to watch any more footage except for the clips that are actually relevant. And so in that way, she was then able to spend those 8 hours, instead of focusing on manually combing through video, making the trainings better, right? Pulling in turns out 5 to 10x more incidents that the agent could actually detect versus her, manually combing through it. Yeah. And then spend that time working with the people on the ground to make sure that they were actually following policies. Yeah. And then, a month later, not only do you have a very good understanding of the incidents, but your people have been retrained with real world examples. 40% reduction in these kind of safety incidents, as you said. So that's a really cool example.
So where do companies start when they're looking at this? What existing assets do they need to have in place? What assets do they need to deploy when it comes to, if they want to begin testing out these AI agents on their floor? What do they need to have at a minimum? And then what do they need to add on to that?
Yeah, that's maybe the most incredible thing. We've talked to a lot of manufacturing folks at Automate, the past few days. And a lot of the businesses that are selling at the trade show, we're talking about a lot of new infrastructure to be put in. Maybe it's new machinery or whatever it may be. In our case, there are already 100 million plus IP or security cameras deployed across U.S. businesses.
Okay.
And most of them are recording and not doing much else. All you need from us is a small box of hardware, size of a PC. You plug it into internet, you plug it into power, and any cameras that are already connected to your local network get streamed in, and bam, they're AI teammates. So it's really that simple.
While we're talking about getting started, team buy-in is another thing. And I know we're calling the security cameras AI teammates, but what about the team on the floor as well? Particularly for the safety example, right? Where it's looking for forklift issues, it's looking for PPE issues. That's the one that makes this question come to mind.
Yeah.
How do you get buy-in from the team to make this not feel like a big brother is
Big
watching
brother's watching
thing?
over you the whole time to make sure you're following the rules.
Right. How do you make them realize, I shouldn't say make them, how do you get folks bought in that this is actually something that's helping them and everyone else?
Right. Yeah, and I think a lot of it comes down to education, right? When a lot of people hear about AI, there's kind of a natural twinge of fear because of all the sci-fi movies that we've seen. But when it comes down to it and you look at the data, a 40% reduction in safety incidents means that people are safer, right?
Yeah.
And it means you can go to work, you can get your job done, and you can go to your family without, having a fear of ending up in the hospital for a couple of weeks, right? And so I think that's the biggest piece. These AI teammates are really about supporting humans, making humans safer, making humans more efficient, and augmenting human abilities. There's definitely no notion of kind of replacement or monitoring in that way. And so I think that's really been the focus. And we work and partner with safety teams, with operation teams at these customers to make sure they're well educated, they can bring their team along. And even when, there might be minor resistance at first, once those teammates are on the ground, everybody gets bought in pretty quickly.
Yeah.
What do you do? Let's go to the operational example then. Do you have a story that shows the operational improvements that come from having these type of AI agents?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're working with a very large clothing manufacturer. And, they have tons of packaged clothing that goes down a distribution line, right? And at different points during the day, they'll have higher volume. And they basically specify as either, green, everything's good, yellow, things are starting to get a little bit clogged, right? Maybe we want some intervention to prevent a red, which is full stop, right? Downtime and lost revenue. And by deploying an AI agent that can understand what a yellow scenario looks like, slightly higher volume coming down, simply with an IP camera that was already installed, they're able to have an agent immediately alert an operations manager on the ground. They can come in, tune the system, tune the assembly line to make sure they don't get to a red state, right? And over the course of a year, that's going to save them tens of millions of dollars in lost revenue from downtime.
So when we look at the future of what AI agents could be, right? We're really addressing safety right now. We're making it easier for the human to work. Where can AI agents go in the future? Like what is that 10,000 foot view that we would love to see AI agents do 5 years down the road from now?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the sky is the limit. As we talked a little bit about earlier, a lot of the newest models, foundational models, we talk about Claude or ChatGPT or Gemini, they are able to take in lots of different sources of data. So very soon, your AI teammates will ingest all of the relevant business and video data, and you can simply give them an objective, a goal to move towards, right? Rather than, I want you to watch for forklift near misses, and when you see them, send me a text message. It's, I want to make this process 25% more efficient, right? And then using all of those different data sources, reasoning, understanding, and analyzing, your AI teammate will do that work for you, help you plan, help you implement a strategy to actually solve that business goal. So I think we'll be there in the very near future. And if you look in the digital world, we're already starting to get there at enterprise level, right? If you look at OpenAI's ChatGPT deep research, it's a very similar concept, right? You give a broad, generalized kind of outcome. I want to learn about this topic, right? Or I want to try and solve this problem. It'll go off. It'll spend 15, 20, maybe even 30 minutes scraping the internet, reading, learning, absorbing, and then it outputs an entire report to you, right? And that's where we're going to be for the physical world very soon.
Awesome.
In the present, what do we do to get more folks to understand AI agents? Because I'm surprised every time. Like, it's not like people are getting to understand AI, but their default, and my podcast listeners hear me talk about this frequently now. The default is, oh, AI can help you write code. Oh, AI Copilot will help you create ideas, right? Those are, and it's good that folks have some basic understanding of that. But I'm surprised every time I bring up AI agents, particularly in a manufacturing context, there aren't as many hands going up, like feeling like they understand it. So what does it take to just educate people in the presence where this becomes more of a understood concept?
Yeah, it's a very good question, and it's something that we've been grappling with as well, right? I think the advent of ChatGPT and getting that into more people's hands has made the world of agents kind of more accessible to more people. So when we're talking to potential customers, we like to use ChatGPT for video, right? That's what Spot AI does, is ChatGPT for video. And I think as you start to explain that concept, it starts to click more, but it's still something we're figuring out as well. And yeah, I think we're going to be working to better educate a lot over the next couple of years.
Awesome.
I have one final question. What did everyone order? I mean, this podcast is about to end because we are about to jump into what will be a very big Automate after party here at Extra Innings, which, Jake, this is the second time we've collaborated on this. What did you get out of curiosity, Duncan?
Yeah, this is called the Chela Familiar. It's a Mexican style Vienna lager.
There we go.
So
that's a great
style.
That's one of my favorite. I love craft versions of that style. That's probably what I'm going to have next. I went with a New Zealand Pilsner, New Zealand hopped Pilsner, so a little hoppier. Jake, what about you?
I got an IPA. I can't remember the name, but like it had some crazy add-ons to it, and it is delicious.
I'll do my best to remember to find the name of that for the outro.
I'll try and do that. I see a menu actually right over here real quick. Let me grab this. Yeah, here we go.
Ad-lib right here.
Awesome. I got the Crushing Tides. Actually, it's a pale ale, so it's a New England pale ale.
That counts.
With Citra anchovy hops, aromas and flavors with fresh citrus, red candy, and watermelon.
I love the description.
That is
of
complex.
That.
I saw that one was a 12 ounce as well.
Yeah, a little bit more. So it's good.
There we go. Well, cheers, gentlemen. We got a party to get to.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys for having me on.
Of course.